Well, we're getting close to the end of the year, and a lot of decisions have to be made, especially if you are on Medicare, Medicaid, reaching the age of 65 or whatever, a lot of questions you may have. Well, we brought in the professional to ask those questions to, Gary Smith from the Gary Smith Agency. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you very much for being here. So, I mean, we wanted to get you in here early because I know there's some deadlines coming up for people that they're wondering what they're going to do. So
that's correct.
Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, you know, as everybody knows, this time of year we're getting close to what we call the Medicare end of the year enrollment, or we call it the annual enrollment. It starts October 15th and goes through December 7th. But I want to get in here today and talk to the listening audience because there's a large group of people that don't have to wait until October to do something, and that would be those people who have a Medicare supplement. A lot of those people have been getting rate increases on their policies, you know, throughout the year, but we always hear they have to wait until the end of the year. And we just want to kind of get the message out, hey, you don't have to wait, because you may have got a rate increase of $20, $30, $40 back in February, and you've been waiting till October, and you could have done something back in February. You know, you're not stuck in that policy. You can always pick up the phone and give us a call, or call your existing agent and ask for a new plan. You know, and that's the, you know, you got to pass the medical questions. You know, you do have to kind of go through the underwriting process. But that's, you know, everybody always thinks this end of the year deal is for all products. And it really only applies, the end of the year only applies to drug plans and Medicare Advantage plans. The supplements are, as I tell everybody, it's kind of off on its own with its own set of rules, but, you know, again, unless you do this every day like I do, it's hard to keep up with all that. So it's all gotten lumped in towards the end of the year, you know. So that was one of the messages that we want to kind of get out to everybody, that you don't have to wait. Because again, if you got a $40 increase back in February, and you have to wait till the end of the year, I mean, that's a pretty huge difference, right, in price.
Right.
What if you were healthy in February, and in October you're not? Now you can't change. That's a huge problem. February you were fine.
Yeah.
Now you don't have a heart attack.
Once you have an existing situation there, you can't
change supplements. You're stuck. And of course, if they went up $40 this year, they're probably going to go up $40 next year, and $40 a year after that, and $40 a year after that. And next thing you know, you're paying $400 or $500 a month for a Medicare supplement. And of course, that's not costly.
So you could change your supplement plan if you don't.
You can change it. You just have to be able to get through the medical questions. And we see that a lot, where people had a rate increase back in February, March, waited, they come in October, and something's happened to their health. And
especially with what's going on right now.
Absolutely. We are actually having people declined for COVID. And that's actually something we didn't, it's not really listed on the application, do you have or do you not have COVID? But they always have that, have you ever been in the hospital question. And so that kind of, you know, yes, I was in ICU with COVID. Well, that's an automatic decline, we're finding out. So those people now are either stuck paying $300, $400, $500 a month for their supplement, and or now their only option is an Advantage plan.
Wow.
So, you know, and nothing wrong with the Advantage plans, but what if they just didn't want one? You know, so we're trying to stress to those people, don't wait.
Go ahead to take.
If you get a rate increase, give us a call. I mean, don't wait.
See what kind of changes you can make.
See what kind of changes you can make.
Yeah, and especially, you know, if like Gary said, if you're the healthy line.
Right.
So let's talk a little bit about, I got 4 minutes left, let's talk about some other things that you need to do, talking about like life insurance.
Right, because we were just kind of talking about that. Another thing we're seeing, I'm glad you brought that up, is a lot of the retirees are coming to us, and of course the bulk of us out there work for Ingalls, hospitals, you work for somebody, WLOX.
Right.
And all your life insurance is tied to your work. Well, you retire 63, 64, that's when most of them find out that they cannot keep their life insurance. They might have had 100, 150, 200,000 life insurance provided by work, but now they're left and now they have no life insurance. And then they come to us and they're wanting to, you know, obviously get something to take care of those final expenses, the burial expenses.
Right.
Their health is turned. So now they can't buy a policy, or it's not cost prohibitive. So now they have to fund your funeral in some other way. You know, just going and talking to the funeral homes about a pre-plan or just putting that money to the side. So for those people who are in that scenario, you're 55 years of age, 60 years of age, and you're at work, you need to be kind of planning about your life insurance issue. So I had a lady in the other day, and she was in a similar scenario, and she brought up the fact that she wished her grandparents had bought her a policy, and she was in there getting a policy for her grandkids. This is something we haven't really looked at, so I priced it out for her, and she, for $10 a month, she was able to buy her grandkids a $20,000 life insurance policy.
Wow.
That they can keep for the rest of their life. And she said, what I would have loved to have had that in my scenario now. She worked at Ingalls, lost all of her insurance. Health had gone bad, so it wasn't really cost prohibitive to buy a plan. She goes, I would have loved to have had a plan given to me by my grandparents for $20,000 life insurance. And then at some point in time, she says, you know, my grandkids, that she's buying it, she says, this policy will be paid for. They won't even have to pay for it when they're 60. It's paid up, and you've got $20,000 worth of life insurance, so if and when you need it. And so that's why I want to come talk to you to get that message out to the grandparents out there, to what a great gift to give to your grandkids. Mm-hmm. You know, a 10-year-old, $5 a month gets them $10,000 in life insurance. $10 gets them roughly $20,000.
Does that rate ever go up?
It never goes up.
So it's in
price never changes.
Okay.
And at some point in time, when your cash value builds up enough in that policy, probably around age 35 to 40 years of age, the policy is paid for.
Wow.
So not a bad deal.
No.
And that's, you know.
And
so,
you have peace of mind that you're covered.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to be covered. Your grandkids down the road are always going to have life insurance. Now, we all know that we're going to have to, as a grandparent, you're going to have to make preparations to make sure you get that 18-year-old to 26-year-old through that stage, because they're probably not going to pay that $5 or $10 premium. You may have to pay for it or do something, but once they're an adult with kids themselves, they're going to be greatly appreciative that grandmother and grandfather left them a policy.
That's awesome. Great information. Gary, as always, a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you for having me.
You're always so informative, because I'm in that age area right
almost
now.
There.
Almost there. If you'd like some more information and would like to make an appointment, of course, the phone number is on your screen. You can call the Gary Smith Agency. They'll be glad to come and talk to you, and give them a call if you need some help.